Hey, Crawlspacers, another month, another ASM review show. Let's introduce the panel. I'll do it in the order that they showed up. She beat me here. Kelly's in the house. What's going on?
Hey. Oh, there's my mic.
Greetings.
I was like, wait, where's my mic? It's
It's
already
right
on
there.
me. Yay.
Well,
So, hi.
welcome. Marriages are a scam, K-Day.
Yep. I stand by it.
Someone that agrees with your opinion. JR, what's going on, JR?
Well, Brad, I know that today you're going to make it up to me because, in the past, you've given me some pretty crappy news stories, to do, but I know you're going to make it up to me by only having me do quality Spider-Man stories this week.
Yeah, so I gave you all the backups in the overpriced $9.25.
Hey,
yeah.
no. Those are quality stories. I had to handle the main stories. So you're welcome, JR.
No.
What the duck, JR? What the duck?
Spoilers.
Oh, it's a goose. It's a goose. What the goose? I'm going to goose you, JR.
Ew.
Wow.
No, I don't like guys doing that.
All right, Sarah. Oh, you're face palming, Sarah. You haven't even been on.
already regretting it. I understand.
Actually, it looks like she's allergic to something. She's got a snoot full of pollen or something.
A snoot. A snoot. That's like
what is
such
happening?
a Werther's original old man saying, a snoot.
That's slang for a nose, Brad.
Oh, no, I know what a snoot is. You snooty bat. Anyway. Alas, we got chat. Chat beat me in here. We said hi.
Wait. Sarah didn't get much of an introduction.
No, I didn't, because you're snooting. Sarah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, everybody.
How's your snoot?
It's great. Thanks for asking, Brad.
And Netta, yes, here we go again. Hello, good night. Oh, you're going to bed, Fabio. Good night from Brazil. Well, JR, you put him to sleep already. What's up? Number one Marvel fan says, what's up, guys? And Hornacek says, I'm hoping the majority of the episode is discussing the goose story. Well, Hornacek, you're in luck. We've got the goose coming up. Matt Bird in the house. Hope all is going well for each of you as you enjoy these comics you're covering. Milo's saying hello. Quality Spider-Man stories. What is HR smoking? What is JR? I thought we were getting called into the Crawlspace HR. I don't know.
Yeah, really.
Wait, there's HR?
Oh, I'm in trouble.
If there is, it's me. So you guys are fine. Let's see. Hornacek, everyone's already taking a shot. We haven't started. SoFlo, we are not reviewing the annual, but we are reviewing the annual on Patreon later. We got two annuals. We got Adjectiveless and we've got ASM.
Who took them?
Sarah.
Sarah
read both
thank
of
you,
them.
Sarah.
You know,
I only wanted my good ones, and one of them wasn't that great.
You're missing Kelly. It's Aunt Anna versus Spider-Man. Mutant.
It's actually it's really funny. I think.
We'll discuss my anger towards Marvel due to touching Aunt Anna and trying to make her the new supervillain in Satellites.
Jeez.
Did you see the final panel of that issue, Kelly?
Yeah, they're trying to make her the next big villain. I swear to God.
They put her in a straitjacket. Aunt Anna, of all people. Tune into Patreon for that mess. Crawlspace HR quit en masse years ago. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. All right. Sarah, you've got this issue, ASM 924. Let's go through it.
Yep, written by writer Zeb Wells, penciler Ed McGuinness, inkers Mark Farmer, Cliff Rathburn, and Ed McGuinness, and colorist Marcio Menyes. So last book, Doc Ock injected Norman Osborn with the Goblin Serum to turn Norman back into his evil self. This book opens with Doc Ock looming over Norman Osborn, thinking his plan was a success. Norman explains that his body has absorbed massive amounts of the serum over the years, and that he's learned how to manage its effects. So Doc Ock loses it when Norman says how he became the Green Goblin because of the evil inside of him, and now that's been cleansed, he's good, right? Supposedly. They fight.
He inhales a lot of goblin serum.
He does, yeah.
60 years. It's like me and Mountain Dew.
But
it doesn't affect us very much.
But it's also not how that was set up to begin with. So that's already just changed it. Sorry. I'm gonna let you go.
We'll discuss it later. Let's go through the
Yeah,
plot.
I want to hear you continue that thought later for sure.
I'm sorry.
So then we after this fight, we cut to Spider-Man wearing the red Ock tentacles. Spidey and J. Jonah Jameson are trying to find where Doc Ock has taken Norman, and it seems as if the arms know where to go. And I love that panel at the bottom that you just showed when Spider-Man calls him, he's like, "You dolt," and then he covers his mouth real fast.
That was
Like,
cute.
you know what I mean?
I thought that was cute.
I thought that was pretty funny. So they realize that he better only have these arms on for a short period of time due to the effects that it has on him. J. Jonah Jameson leaves, and Spider-Man swings to find Norman. We see Ock and Norman, and they're fighting, and Ock shows Norman the hyper voltage coil that powers his lab and says something that we don't often hear Ock say, that Norman outsmarted him, and now he has to die. So, sorry, I lost my spot. Okay, Spider-Man bursts in, and Doc Ock's Octoids start listening to Spider-Man. And Ock then realizes that Spider-Man has spine locked with the other tentacles. And as they fight, they call each other Dolt and other Ock-like banter, which I also thought was pretty funny. Then we see a beautiful 2-page spread of them fighting. And Ock then...
There it is.
Yeah, that's the spread. I love that. That looks so good. I mean, it depends on how you feel about them both having tentacles, but I thought it was pretty good. So then Ock pushes Spider-Man into the hypercoil by detaching his tentacles. So Spider-Man falls with both sets of tentacles. The red tentacles that are on Spider-Man try to detach from him so that he can save himself. But Spider-Man yells that they're in this together and they will beat Ock together. More thoughts on that later. Doc Ock says that he will always win because he's willing to sacrifice everything to destroy his enemies. Then Norman fights the tentacleless Doc Ock. We get a good punch in. And Ock calls his Octoids back to protect him. It's too late, however, and Spider-Man grabs Doc Ock by the neck with his tentacles. Norman yells at Spider-Man, like, "What are you doing? You gotta let him go." And Spider-Man realizes that he needs to take off these tentacles because they're a bad influence. Norman helps him with the tentacles, and in the meantime, Doc Ock has escaped through the tunnels with the help of his Octoids. They try to find Otto, but we see later that they had no success. Finally, we see Norman and Peter talking about how this was a much-needed distraction from Kamala, and they reminisce about their interactions with her and the bookends.
Okay. Here, let me show you the beat-up Norman Osborn. Jay, are you okay looking at that? Are you okay with so much Norman beat up?
I'll address it later.
Okay. So, Sarah, what's your grade on this one?
I gave it a B.
Okay. And JR, what's your grade on it?
C-.
Okay. And Kelly didn't read it, right?
I know most of it.
Okay. If you want to give a grade, you can. Go ahead.
D.
Okay. I liked it better than the previous two, so I'll give it a C+. Sarah, let's hear your pros.
Yeah, the reason that I'd given a higher grade because I had liked it than some of the most recent previous issues. I thought it was cool to have Spider-Man and Ock fight with both of them having tentacles. Like that was just really cool to me. I'm surprised it hasn't happened before. I thought the Doc Ock banter from both of them was pretty funny. I like the art for the most part, but I did not like how Doc Ock looked. Like something about his face looked funny to me. I liked how Doc Ock was willing to sacrifice the tentacles to defeat Spider-Man, but Spider-Man was not willing to do the same. I thought that was really in character.
Other pros, I thought the art looked okay. I like that double panel. I thought that was pretty cool. What other pros do we got, Kelly or JR?
Well, the one pro that I have is where Norman tells Doc Ock that impossible that I became the Goblin, not because of the serum, but because of the evil inside of me, which is something I have maintained for years, that it wasn't the Goblin formula that made Norman Osborn crazy. It was Norman's own insanity, and the Goblin formula basically, you know, if you give a madman superpowers, he becomes an even greater madman. But so I was glad to finally see that being acknowledged, because I thought that was a writer's crutch for too many years.
Kelly, got any pros?
Not really. I mean, I don't like Doc Ock. I don't like that many tentacles in anything I have to look at. So,
It was double the Ock.
well, all I have to say is, can Zeb Wells please lay off the tentacle hentai? Because you had Norman running around shirtless most of the issue, and just a bunch of tentacles.
Yeah.
And I there's just no.
Okay.
At one point, I was looking at the art, and I wasn't paying that close attention, but I thought Norman Osborn was in his underwear, and then I realized he was in the goblin suit, the bottom half of it.
Well,
Well, if you want to see him
that?
in his underwear,
Go ahead,
check out a new Avengers story or whatever from several years ago. Then you can see him in his
yeah, he was in
underwear.
his tidy whiteys when
That's
he
exactly
became,
what I want to see. Thanks,
that was
Shara.
gross.
And then he turned purple.
Okay.
It was gross.
I mean, my thing is this too, that first panel where like he's like the first thing that you like popped up, and I totally didn't realize it, I guess, when I like glanced over it. Yeah, why does he sort of look like Beavis?
Hold on, let me go back.
He does. That's you're talking about Ock, right? Or are you talking about Norman?
Both of them.
Well,
Both
yeah,
of
both
them.
look
They
like-
look like Beavis and Butthead. It is not. I don't
Let me
like
try
it.
to find this.
It's the first panel.
Yeah, it's the first panel.
My thing's not working real well. Hold on. Anyway, keep talking.
Well, yeah, no, I don't have a lot of pros. Like I said, I'll be honest. I glanced at it. I didn't decide to do any break. Look at them.
Can you zoom in on Ock's face for me? Just do me a favor.
Yeah,
just
hold on.
Just zoom in.
All right, there you go.
See, okay. He looks like there's a common hentai trope of ugly old guys, which that's what
Okay.
he looks like.
Wow.
And then Norman looks like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead,
Okay, hold on.
and it just set me.
I'm Cornelio. I need TP for my bunghole.
Whoa, Jesus, JR.
That's the line.
That's what he
the
says.
line
Oh my
from
gosh.
Beavis and Butthead. That's what I'm saying. I don't like this.
I'm
Just
thinking
starts
the art
off
is not Kelly's
bad.
favorite on this one. Okay, I agree.
The art is kind of off. I mean,
It is.
You know, I mean, in Ock, when you zoom in on Dr. Octopus's face is there, it looks like it's like only about 3/4 of the way finished. You know, looks like it needed another pass.
Yeah, there's a lot less detail.
All of it's just not my
Okay.
favorite.
So let's go
It never.
to.
I will say this: it never was going to be because Otto is involved.
Yeah. Do you want-
I do not like Otto.
yeah. Well,
I
this
don't like
auto.
tentacles. I just
This is a regressed all the growth from Superior Spider-Man and all the character changes a little bit. This is the default, but I don't even think it's really the default. It's just like a cartoon version of Doc Ock. It doesn't really feel like him, does it?
Yeah,
You
I get
guys?
what you're- No, I get what you're saying.
no.
For sure.
Yeah.
All of it is definitely.
It seems like a joke, and it I wish it wasn't.
But see, that's I think the issue for me is that everything seems memey and very topical.
Mhm.
And therefore there is no substance ultimately, even though there should be, especially with what they are dealing with and talking about. But something about it just feels very
It's off. Very much
off. Yeah.
Sarah, let's do your cons. What do you got?
I I thought it was convenient that Doc Ock escaped through the tunnels, but I mean, makes sense that Doc Ock would have a backup plan to get out of there. But I just didn't like that. Like, and how did his Octoids help him? Like, couldn't he just get up and walk away? Like, he wasn't that choked out. He was fine.
He just conveniently drops out of the
Look
out
at
of the
him.
panel right in the bottom of the floor, right?
Of course he does. That is, of course, that happens. And I know they aside from that, I know they had to acknowledge it because it happened, unfortunately, but I really didn't like the end with Peter and Norman talking about Kamala. It seemed,
Amen. I agree. That felt
yeah,
forced, didn't it? That was
yeah, it
random.
felt forced. It felt pushed in at the last minute. It felt careless. The way that they said a distraction from Kamala, I didn't like that phrase, that phrasing. It seemed really ignorant to me. So,
and I don't think
it
Norman talks like this. I can't stop thinking about her. What? He
But
didn't
it
even
also
know her.
it's talking about the coffee and like, so when I first read this, I was like, wouldn't it be really funny if it was just another Indian girl? It wasn't actually Kamala that
Oh.
handed him the coffee.
Yeah, and he
'Cause
can't
that would
tell the
make more
difference
sense.
because he's so egotistical. Even a good
Yes.
Norman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could
That's
see
what I
that.
want. I just want like kind of narcissistic, egotistical
Absolutely. I
CEO
think
because
that's him.
yeah.
JR, what'd you think of this ending part with
Well,
did it feel tacked on with Kamala
Mike-
just to justify what we went through in a couple issues ago?
yeah, I have two big cons on this issue. One, I think Norman just gets beat up way too easy. I mean, I know that if you're going to, I know that super powered or not, if you get clocked with Doc Ock's arms, it's going to leave a mark. But Norman has fought Spider-Man to a standstill before, and in fact, it gets even worse in the next issue, but he can't knock out Dr. Octopus, so and there's yet to be a really good Green Goblin Doc Ock fight. It just they keep cheating us or whatever. There's yet it just makes you want hunger even more for a real fight. And then the second, just this whole, oh my Lord, this about a girl I know it sounds cold, but a girl they barely know. Have they ever stood around and reminisced about Gwen Stacy like this?
No, exactly.
No.
Like
Like,
exactly.
Like
Yep.
she was, I knew that girl since she was a child. She was Harry's best
Yep.
friend. She stuck up for him when the kids were picking on him. Blah blah blah. Sometimes I felt like she was my, but no, I mean they don't, but Kamala, oh boy,
Very forced.
life is just so much less wonderful, because she's not in the world. Oh, it's terrible.
What's that from? I don't know what that's
it's
from.
a song.
I know from where. What song?
I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind. I can't think of the title.
I can't either.
I could sing the whole
Help
thing.
us, chat.
No, it's Elton John and
Oh, you're right. It is Elton John.
It
Yeah.
is
your
Elton John.
song.
Yeah.
Well, Elton John looks like Doc Ock. It all ties together. There you
No,
go.
he doesn't. That's rude.
There's been pictures and all over the internet when they were
Yeah, that's
casting.
rude. Why are y'all saying Elton John looks like Otto Octavius? Otto Octavius is disgusting. That is so mean.
There was talk of him in Spider-Man 2 that they were going to cast Elton John, but I remember that.
I think that was a straight up rumor. I don't think that
Okay.
ever had anything else made.
All right. Welcome to the Crawlspace version of What's That Tune. Elton John is up. Billy Joel is a guest next. All right. JR keeps singing. Don't start that on the internet, Gary and the Frozen. We don't need it trending. Hashtag JR keeps singing. All right.
You don't need me singing any more than you need more singing Klingons.
Oh,
Wait,
what'd you think of that, JR? I like that part, actually.
When you might as well go all in, and Bad Boy Klingons just works. I was
You
quite
liked it
amused
too?
by that
I liked
episode.
it.
I was quite amused by that episode. I really
I
was.
was too. Did you guys see the musical Star Trek episode, guys?
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Nope.
Look, I'll watch Star Trek later. I'm not obsessive like you guys. I don't have to watch it immediately.
Wait a minute. Obsessive?
Yeah.
Obsessive about Star Trek?
We are. 800 episodes. It's probably been discussed at least 75% of it in each episode. JR. Okay.
Anyway, this issue sucked.
Yes.
Did you just say I sucked? What'd you say?
No, the
This
issue
issue.
sucks.
Oh.
Brad, do you need hearing aids?
What?
I think the microphones in his ears are affecting his hearing.
All I heard was Brad, you suck. So anyway, speaking of suckage, we got a bunch of backups for $10 here. Let's take a look.
Well, wait a minute. Aren't we doing the main? You got to do the main story first.
We
don't
are.
you?
Yeah, we do.
I know. I'm just excited because where is it? Josh, who is boarding a plane, says, about to board a plane. Good luck on the goose story, JR. The
Thank
people
you.
are excited for this issue. Kelly has the first half, which is the main story, which is the wedding, and then JR has the fluff. the other $5 of the issue.
You
Let's
mean
see
no,
if-
no, let's be fair. The goose story clearly is the best story. So I'm gonna go really fast and really just straightforward
just to get to the goose.
just to get to the goose.
Isn't there a saying, get to the gander and the goose, or what is that saying?
What's good for the goose is
What's good for the goose?
gander.
Okay. That's what she's doing. It's good for the goose to get to the goose. So that's why we're
Please
What does
stop.
that saying even mean?
I don't know.
What's good for the what is a gander? Is that a bunch of geese?
It's male geese, I believe.
Yeah.
What's good for the gander is good for the goose. Okay, chat, help us out on that.
Oh my god.
All right.
Don't.
Kelly.
Please don't.
Okay.
ASM 925, $10.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, so basically there's 2 chapters here. Chapter 1 is the night before the wedding. Tombstone, our prelude, I guess. Whatever. Well, prelude then chapter 1, but I'm including it. But Tombstone scares all the baddies into attending his daughter's wedding, despite feeling things would obviously go awry if they were all there. But Lonnie really wants an epic electric slide on the dance floor, so they're required to attend. Then we go to the bachelorette party. So at the bachelor party, Peter tried to get all of Randy's friends to come out for the bachelor party, but they didn't want anything to do with it or even with the wedding due to Janice being a bad guy. Peter, who sticks to water the whole night, I had to make note of that because, as we know, Peter does not drink or is not allowed to drink. In a Marvel comic, they will always retcon it. He lies to Randy at first that he forgot to invite people, but Randy figures it out and they have a good heart-to-heart and ride a carousel, which sounds like a lot of fun to me. I like Peter's bachelor parties ideas. Those are fun.
Yeah.
Then at the bachelorette party, Janice has her whole girl squad out and they party at the club and she invites her girl crush, Black Cat, and they have a seemingly fun little time. They get bored at the club and choose to costume up and cause chaos for some rival gang situation. Then Janice and Felicia have a heart-to-heart, and it makes Felicia realize that maybe her relationship with Peter needs some introspection. We end this little chapter where Peter finds Felicia at his apartment steps, and she breaks up with him. I guess I should be sad, but I'm not. Then we go to chapter 2, the big day. Peter is playing usher, and he's not playing like the usher, the person. He's being an usher, helping Aunt May to her seat, and also all of Lonnie's coworkers. Great. Before the ceremony could even start, a man on a bike and with a shotgun is able to make Tombstone bleed and cause chaos, effectively stopping the wedding. As everyone runs in the chaos, Peter suits up and tries to tail the possible assassin. Hammerhead kills Madame Mask by blowing up her getaway car. Randy leaves with his parents and leaves his bride to be with her father's ambulance. Whatever is started here is far from over. And that is it on the main story. I missed something, but I don't think I did.
You missed Tombstone getting shot. He got shot.
Well, no, I did. I said that.
Oh, okay. And then he went into the ambulance.
Yeah.
And he thought he was bulletproof. But this is starting the gang war. So, Kelly, let's do grade for the main story. Kelly, what do you give that?
What did I give it? I don't know. B+.
B+. Sarah?
B.
And JR?
It gets a C.
C. I'd give it a B+. It's not the best thing I've ever read, but I was thoroughly enjoyed. I thought it was enjoyable. Kelly, give pros. What did you like about it?
The art is good. I really like the art. I like Randy and Peter's friendship and how Peter is portrayed here with Randy. It's very Peter, and we haven't seen him like this, especially with his friends, in a long time. I also like the breakup. Thank God. I wrote thank God. So I like this story, but again, Peter is not the main focus of the story, and this is supposed to be ASM. It's supposed to be this big $10 issue of ASM. He's not really in it.
Oh, what? Peter Parker?
Yeah. Like, I mean, he's in it. Like, he's helping Randy. He's doing stuff. But, like, he is the side character to the wedding, which he should be. However, this is an ASM book.
Yeah, a $10 one. Yeah. I agree on that. Pros. Is that any more pros, Kelly?
No, that's
okay. Sarah, something pro that we didn't mention, or Kelly didn't mention?
No, nothing.
JR, I've got one that she didn't mention. Let me pull up the panel. Where is it? I want to get to the wedding. It's at the wedding where he's the usher. And I like where he slips the guy the money. And also he asks about the, what is it? Don't worry your little round head. What my name is, and understood. And the lady definitely doesn't have a name if you follow me. I thought that was absolutely hysterical. I thought that was really funny with Hammerhead. Anyway, that was a pro out of me. I thought some of the banter with the crime bosses and the White Rabbit, etc., was fun. JR, pros?
The only pro that I have, again, is another line that I actually kind of liked it when Janice was talking to Felicia and mentioned that she doesn't really want Randy to stop trying to talk her out of crime because that means he stops caring. It's although we're not talking about supervillains and superhero, I mean, in real life, but it is kind of like real life, when someone's not bothering you or teasing you or getting on your case, that means they don't care. They don't care anymore.
It's a great placement to show that Peter doesn't really care about his relationship with Felicia.
That's true. Too. I would agree. And good for Felicia for recognizing that and not just going back to him, because she deserves more than a part-time boyfriend. So,
full
anything else there?
No, I don't know if we're on pros or cons.
We're on pros.
Okay, no more pros.
Okay, Kelly, what didn't you like?
Well, I mean, I wrote still not my jam. It's not my cup of tea. But I am burned out and completely over ASM as a whole. And once again, like I said, why are we getting these like actual compelling stories, like emotionally intelligent stories, when Peter is not the focus? Like that's just
side characters have more movement, don't they? They're getting married. They're breaking up.
It's like I understand sort of like Peter has to be stagnant. And obviously, too, this has been planned for a while. And Peter should not be the main focus on a story about his friend Randy getting married. Like, he should not be making it all about him. However, like I said, it's just, this is a little weird to me. It just all doesn't feel quite right. And it still feels like a lot of whiplash to what happened with Kamala, because I don't know, like it just, none of it's working. And it's kind of at the point where it's now so broken, you can't do anything with ASM other than choose to continue to read it and hate it and be upset, or take a break and walk away and find something you actually enjoy.
Yeah.
Because I don't enjoy this anymore.
Josh Webhead says Wells is set at the Fan Expo, which he's at this weekend in Canada. Said Wells has said the door is still open for Peter and Felicia to get back together, which sure I don't think it will happen, honestly. But one thing I know, Sarah has talked to Zeb Wells, and now Josh has talked to Zeb Wells, and Wells has confirmed that he's willing to come in the Crawlspace and do an interview once he's done with his run. So I thought that would be kind of cool to do a post ASM run with Mr. Wells on that. So thanks.
As long as people behave and treat him with respect.
Truth.
Audience.
Yes.
Love you guys, but y'all need to
take it down a little bit. Don't exactly. Anyway, that will be fun when his run ends. He will come on the show, so that will be fun. And he's emailed me. Seems like a legit nice guy to Sarah, a nice guy to me in email, and a nice guy to Josh. So say what you will about what he writes. You may like some, you may not like some, but he's a guy, and he's been nice to two of my friends and myself. So I respect that. Where the hell were we? Kelly has said her cons, I think.
Yes.
And let's open it up to JR. Cons for you?
Nothing felt right in this issue. I mean, it really didn't. I mean, I for example, I do like the I don't know what they're called, but the lethal ladies. I do like the lethal
Me
ladies
too.
but Wells he doesn't seem to have quite what Nick Spencer had. And I was very up and down with Nick Spencer's run, but I really thought he handled the lethal ladies. I thought they were just very funny, and here it's like Wells is trying to capture that, but doesn't quite do it. Randy and Janice's wedding. I mean, it's like amazing that they don't mention Randy's first marriage and first wife. None of that
Refresh me on his first wife too. That was back in the 70s?
No, the 80s. The 80s.
Who was she? I don't even remember.
I think her name was Amanda.
Okay.
Well, she was a white girl. This is Randy's second marriage, and there's nothing. Him and his dad aren't talked about. Boy, Dad, I really effed the first one up. I mean, can I do it again? Do I deserve? I mean, it's like if that just. I mean, they're not having the conversation a father and son would seem to have at that moment.
Yeah.
It's again, having been both a father and a son, I think I have a little bit of credibility in these matters. But so that didn't seem right. And then the breakup with Felicia just seems so off. I mean, it's like it was only 2 pages basically.
Yeah.
And it just, I mean, I want to see Peter and Mary Jane together. But neither. I don't know if they have they want Peter to hurry up and get in bed with some other woman, and that's so they dump Mary Jane and now they just toss Felicia off real quick.
Well, I think that's the thing though, is that's kind of what they did with Felicia, is they threw her at him, and we've been talking about it, where she's just been an object. She hasn't really been herself. She hasn't been driving her own plot, and it's just the whole fact that this is kind of this one moment where it's almost like she wakes up and realizes, oh, I've just been going through the motions. Okay, cool. Let me go talk to Peter and tell him that I'm not doing that anymore. And it was really funny to me because he was just basically like, yeah, that works. That's fair. Bye. Good night. Didn't care. And
no,
what does that say about Peter, or what does it say about the writer?
It says more about the writer than about Peter or Felicia.
Well,
I mean, this is a woman that he watched get beaten up by Doc Ock, and so infuriated him that he ripped Doc Ock's arms right off.
Yeah.
He went to the hospital. I'm sorry, just let me get this train going.
No, I know, but I have I slightly understand where they're coming from here.
Okay. Okay. But again, just and then just when he went to the hospital and and was just freaking out over. I don't know. This just it seems like he's been through too much with this woman for it to just be. It's like it's a throwaway moment because the writers want to get to something else. Yeah. That's what it is. Not that I want to see Peter and Felicia together, but it's just, like I said, it's just like a quickie. Oh, well, we got something else in mind, so let's break them up real quick and get on. So,
and that's a possibility. I would say, at least with this though, with the way Felicia and Peter are, they've always kind of been ships in the night for each other, and they know that. And that's kind of one of the things with this relationship that always felt off, because it felt more like, oh, okay, they're just friends with benefits right now, because it doesn't seem like they are emotionally invested in each other. And this kind of just is solidifying that. They really weren't. They weren't invested in a relationship together. They were just being
convenient.
Yeah, ships in the night. And so Felicia's just saying, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. I want a relationship. I don't want whatever we're doing. And clearly Peter he's not going to be able to give that to her. So, and they both seem to understand that. It doesn't seem like there's hard feelings. And so that's kind of where I'm at on that. That seems okay. It just seems really weird to do that in the middle of the night after a night of drinking, where clearly Felicia's been drinking. Peter's sober. But you know what I mean? Because she's barefoot on the sidewalk of New York, holding her heels in her hands.
Yeah. I agree with Paul.
It's not a conversation to have at that moment. But
Sarah, what do you think? That feel forced and or you understand it, or what do you think?
I understand it. I don't think that either of them should have had, I mean, based on how the relationship has been treated and how it's felt over the course of the run, like I wouldn't have wanted them to have a greater reaction than what they did, because clearly they understood, like Kelly said, that they were going through the motions and it needed to stop because they weren't in it.
All right. Any other thoughts on this one before we move on? Okay, JR.
Yeah.
We're going to start with the very first backup, which is, Ms. Marvel. Okay. Go ahead, JR.
Well, actually,
look at those word balloons. They're out everywhere.
Actually, we're going to start with the page before that. We're going to start with another one of Nick Lowe's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I don't want to hear it anymore. I read it. I didn't want to read it.
No, we're not going to. I'm not going to read it, but I'm just going to point out that, he says that, turn the page and you will fall into a bunch of new classic Spidey stories.
Mm-hmm, sure they are.
And then, and a couple are just wonderful things we built with some of our favorite creators. This is the same kind of horse shit he was talking about when Beyond was going to be some great thing.
Yeah, it is. He's Stan Lee did the same damn thing, JR. He talked about
okay, but Stan Lee made you actually excited for things. I read Nick Lowe's things and I want to die.
Well, no, when Nick, I mean, first of all, Stan was a used car salesman, but he had a certain charm to him. There's today's editors, they don't have a fraction of what Stan had, to be honest. I mean, as far as that ability to sell a story, or that ability to sell, the experience of reading comic books. Stan was, I mean, if hyperbole was illegal, Stan would have been in jail. But this just seems, I mean, it's like, do you really believe this bullshit you're writing? So anyway.
All right, JR.
All right, the first story. All right, Spider-Man and Miss Marvel are sitting in a tree. KISSING. Yeah, I know. It's like, so anyway, so Spider-Man's saying all kinds of wonderful things about Kamala. Oh, Kamala, I told your parents. Well, first of all, it's like, gee, you came back from the dead relatively quickly. I mean, it took let's see, oops, who's I using as an example here? Oh yeah, I mean, it took, after all, I was dead once, and it took me a full 2.5 years of Superior Spider-Man run to come back, when I was just hanging around a disembodied spirit, so it took me quite a while to come back from the dead. But anyway, he says, oh, by the way, Kamala, can you bend over so I can kiss your ass just a little bit more? So Spider-Man, he's telling Kamala how wonderful she is.
Anyway, you're making stuff up, JR.
No, I'm not. You saved the world, Kamala. And I told at your parents, I told them that you were my hero. Even though I'm the one who's been doing this for who's been doing this
years.
Who's been doing this since you were shitting yellow, and I'm JR!
What?
Since you were shitting yellow.
What does that mean?
New babies, when they're born, they first shit yellow.
Okay. You just said baby.
It's JR. No said.
So, and I'm, even though I'm the one who watched his greatest enemy throw his girlfriend off a bridge, and I'm the one whose second greatest enemy actually killed me and took over my body for a while, and I'm the one who was trying to support my Aunt May while I was trying to be a superhero. But, oh, Kamala, you're my hero. You've suffered so much in your long superhero career. oh, and now by the way, because you're so wonderful, I'm gonna throw shade on one of my greatest stories of all time by saying,
now talk about that, JR. That pissed me off.
I usually save this for kids with incurable diseases. It's like, yeah, throw shade against one of the most famous and touching Spider-Man stories of all time by having him turn it into a quasi joke, and then, so he takes his mask off for Kamala and she goes, "Oh my God, Peter Parker, why do you look like a stone Tom Holland?" And it's, and he goes, and he goes, "Oh, well, because pot's legal in New York, Ms. Marvel. You want some?"
Oh my God. Let's take a look at Stone Pot Holland. No, it's Tom Holland.
Why do you, Peter Parker? Why do you look like a stone Tom Holland? Why
does he look like he's 19 years old?
Yeah, he looks like Tom Holland there, doesn't he?
And then it's just like, Kamala goes, Kamala goes away because she's going to go join the X-Men because, she's going to try, they're still trying to give her some kind of purpose.
Hold on.
Before the shitty movie comes out.
Look at this panel. That's just awkward. That's weird. Look at the faces and ugh.
I know. It's terrible. None of this is earned. I mean, Kamala hasn't earned this. I mean, even Peter Parker, how many years did he go without telling his best friend in the superhero community, Johnny Storm, his secret identity?
Nope.
How has Kamala earned this?
The editor said she did. That's why.
Yeah, that's basically
Nick Lowe says she earned it. That's why.
No, she didn't earn it. Yeah,
no.
She didn't earn it from the reader.
He's not been. I mean, he has fought at the side of different heroes over the years. Shared blood. Sweated blood and tears with them. No. So anyway, but then again, she goes off in the distance, and he just kind of, with that stoned look. Oh, X-Men. Hot dog. I mean, it's almost like he's a pedophile lusting after this teenage girl.
No, he's lusting after the hot dog.
I believe.
Oh, wait a mine. Oh, I never thought he he bent that way. But
I meant the food.
Jesus.
Oh.
JR.
You were kind of scaring me there, Kelly.
Spider-Man's looking at you, JR. Spider-Man's looking at you.
He's looking, but he's not seeing. Not with those glassy eyes. Oh my God.
All right. JR, what do you give that masterpiece for a grade?
That's just the first shit story. Anyway, we're at the bar.
What do you give that one for a grade, buddy?
Grade? These are all D's. Okay. None of them personally offended me, but they're all.
That one was written by Zeb Wells and David Lopez is who wrote that one. All right. Now we have a Doc Ock story, right?
All right. So we are at the bar of no name. We're actually Ron Zimmerman, the late Ron Zimmerman, I should say, actually did write a fairly good story at the bar with no name in Friendly Neighborhood
You're
Spider-Man.
bringing up Cher's boyfriend again.
Ex-boyfriend. Of which she had many. So anyway, so the supervillains in the bar with no name are, kind of a little nervous because they actually have an A-lister amongst them, and Kelly is just looking like she's in pain this whole thing. I mean,
yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Because she's having to listen to ASM reviews. She's done Kelly was saying she's like Felicia in this book. She's done, right? You're breaking up with Peter too. Like Peter can't keep a girl.
No, I stick with Peter. I'm just not sticking with this. I'll be honest. I am starting to really hate Nick Lowe, like a lot. But anyway, let's keep continuing so we can get this over with.
We're in the bathroom, JR. With
Brad's making me read the stories.
He is.
JR, It should be in pain.
So anyway, by no name, they're saying, "Oh, we have an A-list supervillain amongst us this time, and it's Dr. Octopus, and he's just feverishly trying to, he's just feverishly trying to figure out this formula, that'll give him ultimate power, but he's missing a piece. He just can't figure it out, And one of the little creepy Octobots or whatever tries to bring him a beer, and it's like, bah, Dr. Octopus doesn't drink Bud Light shit. Dr. Octopus would prefer something that's not woke."
He did not say Bud Light. He says alcohol will dull my senses.
Yeah, so he actually wants Bud Light.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Doc Ock would want a Bud Light. Anyway,
Right.
so Doc is saying,
What do you think he would want?
He likes
Joel.
Frank Miller, so it's Miller time. I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, actually, I don't think Doc Ock would drink, except, when Doc Ock is written correctly, he's a man who actually believes that he's a refined person and that other people are beneath him, not just because they don't have superpowers or are not as smart, but just because he has more class than these.
So he wants a monster.
An energy drink for more power to fight Spider-Man.
So anyway, so I can't figure this out, and he's wondering, why can't I figure this out? And then he sees the superior Spider-Man in the mirror, and the superior Spider-Man is telling him, "Well, you didn't figure it out, you imbecile. I did." And then it hits Doc Ock. He says, "I know what I have to do now. I have to start yet another monthly Spider-Man related title because Marvel is as culturally and morally creatively bankrupt as DC with all those Batman family titles. So I must return to another monthly title."
By the way, that
Wow.
ends Dan Slott and Mark Bagley's adjective list. It's going to be ongoing superior Spider-Man. So.
Hello, darkness, my old
Yeah,
friend.
man.
In fact, about half of these stories are that I would say pilots for
Oh yeah,
yeah.
they're pilots.
This is terrible. I mean, it's just is terrible.
Sarah,
know,
your mom says
next-
Doc Ock would drink wine.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Ock would he
Or
would have
Loco.
For Loco.
What's Loco? I don't know what Loco
For
is.
Loco, it's like it's malt liquor. You should try it, Brad. It's very good.
No,
I don't drink, so you're starting me with
Yeah.
that?
no. But also, Four Loco was like banned for a long time because it was
Mhm.
mixed with caffeine, and it was the choice of a lot of your cringy gamers and just
well, Mountain Dew
millennials.
is for gamers. I thought that's what.
Yeah, okay, he'll drink Mountain Dew, but in like a wine glass. That's what Doc Ock wants.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tevia, your question: how does Doc Ock become superior Spider-Man? You know what? Marvel is wanting you to ask that question and plop your $5 down and figure it out. It'll be in the first issue. I bet you'll explain it. That's why they teased it in the back of this book. So, what's lean? what's lean?
No.
I don't.
No.
Now, Sarah, if this is your mother, explain to me. Explain to me what lean is. I don't know.
He's
Do we
got
all
him a
drink it
cup
like
of that
this?
grape lean.
What's a grape lean? I don't know.
No.
Kelly's telling me no.
JR, do you know what lean is? I don't know.
This is
Does it make you
Kelly.
skinny?
We should let this just be a confusion state for them.
We really should. We really
He
should.
says it's syrup.
Oh God.
I think it's sad that
Okay,
Okay,
Sarah's
Doc Ock
mom
is
is
too
probably
white for these.
Sarah's mom is
Agreed.
probably my age, and she's
I'm
hipper
crying.
than I am, and she knows what the syrup and all these lean and this. Oh, she says a grape drank. A drank. So it's a past tense after you drink it. Okay, I got you.
Just
Ask
Doc Ock is too white for that.
Ask Lil Wayne. Yeah. Your daughter is having trouble breathing. You're gonna have to stop that in the chat.
She
JR.
says that to me more often than someone like her.
Pronounce scissor? What are you doing, Gary and the Frozen? What do we do? What?
Oh my God.
Okay, JR,
Did we
this
go
is
back to
appropriate for the next
2008?
story because we all need to go to
Yeah.
therapy. Okay.
Oh God, no.
Well, our next story shifts to Mary Jane and Chi-Town's favorite new supporting character, Paul. And
We love Paul. We stand up Paul. This is a Paul.
She looks
standing
ragged. She looks ragged. Look at
Poor
her.
Mary Jane.
She's
I
been through a
mean-
lot, you know. She spends 4 years in some alternate dimension with a couple little rugrats that turned out that they never existed. So anyway, so she and Paul are in therapy, you know, in great therapy, trying to get over the grief of losing the kids. And they decide to go out and slum at Aunt Anna's house for whatever reason. And you know, the paper comes in and it's
Wait a
a
minute.
picture of Mary.
Hold on. Let's take a look at these two, by the way, JR. Let's just take a look at this couple. Okay, we're moving on. It's just so sad.
Okay, not sure what he was going for, but anyway.
No, it's just so sad.
You mean what, the art?
The whole damn thing is sad.
No,
Just
it's not sad because we don't care about Paul. You know,
No,
and we
I
don't
care about Mary Jane though.
Yeah, but we don't care about those two bright little kids that never were real or whatever.
Yeah,
We
but
don't
They
we
didn't
care.
even
care.
have like editorial couldn't even remember their names.
I can't remember their names.
Neither can I, but I do care how MJ has been affected losing
Yeah,
them.
that's what I care
Yes.
about. Yeah.
I do care about that.
So anyway, so Mary Jane, you know, the paper comes in and there's a front page photo of Jackpot. And Mary Jane doesn't take too kindly to that, but she figures the solution is going and, you know, getting in bed with Paul. And I guess it comes to Mary Jane notices, you know, that, boy, you know, I never realized how attractive it is to be around a man who's got arm and chest hair as much as of a gorilla. You know, I mean, Peter, you know, I mean,
A
when
little
I was,
manscaping going on there.
I
Is that
mean,
what you're saying?
you know, Peter's skin was soft like a newborn baby's ass, but you know, this Paul's is.
I'm reading the text dialogue. There's none of this in there. Again,
You know,
if George was
but this-
here,
I
you're
just,
making stuff
I
up.
just can't. I just wonder if Paul, you know, I just can't wait to put my fingers into Paul's chest hairs and just kind of, you know, knead them. So
Well,
So
there was
let-
that one time with Bruce Wayne, remember? And Bruce Wayne is known for his chest hair.
3 minutes on chest hair.
does he
No.
have? So
Good.
anyway,
God.
so
Anyway,
I don't know if like Paul doesn't wake up or goes to work or I don't know, but he doesn't seem to be around when Felicia drops in without warning and without an invitation, watching the original Star Wars movie.
She's a cat burglar. She can get in anything.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, okay, so like Mary Jane comes down. I mean, where's Paul? Paul, it's like, I don't know. I mean, if some
Sleeping
forget it, whatever. I mean. I mean, if you've ever, whatever, nothing. So Felicia has brought Mary Jane a custom made Jackpot costume. And of course, Mary Jane says, no, this would be, you know, a lousy idea. I don't want to be a superhero. And Felicia says, well, considering this cesspool of a corrupt city, you know, needs another hero. And I keep thinking, wait a minute. Batman and the Bat family can take care of Gotham City on their own, okay, on that corrupt cesspool of a city. But New York City in the Marvel Universe has heroes tripping all over each other,
Mhm.
you know, but yet they need another one. And if it's like, wait a minute, if New York is still a corrupt cesspool of a city, then what good are the superheroes doing? They're not doing any good at all. You know,
We need
I mean,
another one. We need
I mean,
another
yeah.
ongoing book or miniseries is what
It's like,
editorial's
you
telling
know,
us.
it's like I know that you know, it's a comic book and our suspension of disbelief is stretched out anyway, but it's like, is New York City, like in the MCU, is that the same as Gotham City? You know, I mean, the last time in New York, New York was a fairly clean place for a while. Oh, Kelly has raised her hand. Yes.
I just want to bring up how like everybody in all of Marvel now seems to have superpowers. So wouldn't it mean like 40% of the damn city has superpowers?
Yep.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, employees of the day. How many employees of the Daily Bugle wound up with superpowers?
Probably 50 to 60%.
You know, I mean, it's like,
And then
Yeah.
don't forget, Felicia tries to guilt trip her into becoming a superhero because of the kids. Do it for the kids. Do it for the kids.
the kids who don't exist anymore.
Do it for Romy and Michelle or whoever the hell they were.
So Anyway, so Mary Jane's still moping over the disappearing kids, but Felicia gives her some kind of pep talk that is going to make all the hurt go away. And then, and then Mary Jane hears a cry for help, and then she decides, to become Jackpot again, because as Peter said, with great power comes great responsibility, and with great power comes another monthly Spider Family related title. Certainly.
Kill me
It has
now.
to be.
Yeah. Does anyone want that book besides editorial that is pushing that out? No one. I don't know anyone that wants that book, has been demanding for Mary Jane to be a superhero.
No, but
Who's
if she
that
doesn't,
for?
if she doesn't end up in Vegas, I'm gonna be really pissed.
But see,
Ugh.
even that doesn't look like Vegas. It doesn't look like Jackpot. It looks like a bathroom attendant, and it's an ugly suit. I hate that suit. I am, and like, it's not just me being irrationally angry at this entire idea. Like, no, this is a literal ugly suit. This does not look good. This looks absolutely horrible. You're highlighting her thighs. So like for a cosplayer, like, unless they're gonna have really super skinny thighs, it's not gonna look good on them. Which, I mean, it doesn't even look good on her. None of it works. It's so ugly and gross, and like this entire situation is just so stupid and pointless.
Yeah.
I have a lot of feelings about this, which is why I'm walking away from ASM until this is over.
Well, you can talk a little about. You just feel frustrated as a Spider-Man fan because they're doing this to Mary Jane, or what makes you walk away? Talk about that.
It is being done to Mary Jane, which of course then bleeds into even doing it to Aunt Anna for some unknown godly reason. But the whole thing, though, all of this was really just bad writing to begin with. It just didn't work or didn't fit. But the whole thing is, it's what I'm seeing the fandom turn into because of it, and Marvel's response to that. It's become so disgusting. I mean, we're having people literally wish death upon a fictional character just because they are with Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Like they can give you no other reason other than that, because the character has done absolutely nothing. And it's insane that we have that amount of outrage, that amount of anger within the fandom. I've talked about this multiple times about how, because things were not handled right with Brand New Day and things were never fixed, it's has this open wound that has been festering, and now it's infected. And so the fandom is just completely derailed, and it's made me so sick because I don't want to spout hatred every single time I'm on here, but I also will not say something's good when it's not. We're not that kind of podcast. There's other podcasts you can go find if you just want to hear people circle jerk Marvel editorial. But we're not, sorry. It's true. And that's kind of the thing, is that we're not going to do that. But it's also like, I also don't have to subject myself to something I absolutely cannot stand.
Yeah.
Every single day. I don't get paid for, like, we don't get paid for this. This is just because we're having fun. And
this is a hobby. If you're not having fun with it, you shouldn't do it. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's kind of where I am here. Like, I don't like to me, it is, Mary Jane has always never wanted to be a superhero. Even here, they bring that up. She does not want this. She doesn't want these powers. She doesn't want to be like this. And she definitely doesn't want to put her life out on the line. That's not what she does. She likes being behind the scenes. She likes being the supporting character in the background when it comes to stuff like this. And so then to like force her to be a superhero, especially in the trope, because it's become a trope where every single person is a superhero. Every single person winds up with powers and has to be a superhero or a supervillain.
Yeah.
And
well, Mary Jane is like the viewers or the readers, and the fact that she doesn't want to be a superhero. We don't want her to be a superhero, but here we are.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
JR, you ready to go back to the bar with no name?
Oh God, no. But I guess I must. Anyway, the story starts out.
JR, what's your grade for that Jackpot story?
Oh, come on. I told you all they were all D's. I mean, come on.
All D's.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, this our next sack of shit coming up is Taskmaster sitting in a bar trying to drink his in the bar with no name, trying to drink his troubles away. And then all of a sudden, an energy blast, ruins his drink, busts his glass. And then he says, "Oh, it's Spider Woman. Hey, wait a minute. I thought you were a pregnant black woman, So, and then Spider Woman goes, "Well, I thought you were I thought you were a brain dead zombie woman or whatever from some shit movie that started Phase 4." Okay, so they get that out of the way. And then, and again, I'm not intimately familiar with Spider-Woman or Taskmaster's power set, but for whatever reason, Jessica just seems to beat him like he's a schoolgirl. And she even copies, in that one panel, she even copies like Mr. Fantastic or Ms. Marvel's powers. If you look at,
I got it. I think that's the artist. That's the artist. Yeah. That's not good.
Come on.
That's not good.
It does. It looks like she's got stretchy powers. So she wants some list of all of Taskmaster's clients, and he folds quicker than one of Weird Al Yankovic's old accordions, and just gives it to her. Well, now we've got to bring in some characters whose movies we want to promote later. Here's Captain Marvel, who has absolutely no business in this story, but she's got a movie coming out, and she's trying to find Jessica. And Peter says, he makes some reference to some Spider-Verse bullshit. And then she goes to Jessica Jones, and then she goes to Julia Carpenter. And it's like, Julia saying, boy, my crappy movie is going to come out about 3 months after your crappy movie. And then, Jessica finds some, apparently members of Hydra are now peddling drugs to kids or whatever. And she's about to clean his clock. He does a cyanide tooth thing, says, "Hail Hydra." And Jessica goes, "Where's my baby?" But to be continued in Spider-Woman #1, yet another advertisement for yet another Spider-Man family related comic
title. Yeah, I didn't mind this one, honestly, because I like Jessica Drew. I've read a lot of Jessica Drew. And I like her being pushed. That's what a mom would do if someone stole her kid. She'd be pissed. She would take on Taskmaster, go to the bar and take them all on. Take all the comers.
Who's writing the new series? Sorry.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I was just asking because, to me, it's like if it's not Carla, I don't want it anymore. Because Carla was just the best voice for her.
I put the solicits up on the front page, and it's got the creators on it, so it's up there. If you guys want to see it. JR, really, that's a D too?
they're all D's.
Right.
It's like, I was trying to, I had a joke about Taskmaster. She says Taskmaster says he trained her, and I said, wait a minute, that wasn't her origin in Marvel Spotlight number 32. But screw Archie Goodwin and Marie Severin, those bums. They never did anything for Marvel anyway. So,
yeah. So if you want to check that, what's confusing, they said that the Spider-Woman was originally a 4-issue mini to tie into that gang war deal. And then they put out a press release that said it's ongoing. And then they sent out the solicits the other day that I put up. And then they said it's again a 4-issue miniseries. So their publicity is sending mixed messages. So let's see. All right. Dan Slott, cock-a-doodle-doo.
All right. Now, first of all, we got Foghorn Leghorn introducing the story. I say, boy.
Wait, is that the Psycho House?
Oh, that looks like
Norman
Priest's house. It is. It's
Look at that. Straight up copied from Psycho.
Wow.
Maybe Kelly's going to want to read this one now.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
So anyway, it looks like we're at a furry convention with all these anthropomorphic animals walking around, and we got some old biddy who looks like a dried up version of Jessica Hahn's Doc Ock character in the first Spider-Verse movie, and it turns out that. She is the mother of this chick. I don't know where this chick comes from. Does she come from that stupid ass Beyond story?
I've never seen her, and I don't recognize her.
Anyway, she goes to the same barber Doc Ock does, and her name is Sarah Stillwell. Shannon Stillwell. And
Which one? The one with the gray hair? This
no,
gal?
Shannon is. We'll find out who this.
Okay,
This is
so
Shannon
this gal?
Stillwell. Okay,
This one.
and yeah, and
Yeah,
then
got it.
yeah, we find out that this woman, and of course we'll get to her name later because it's just a utterly ridiculous name. Turns out that she's the mother of Harlan and Farley Stillwell, who created the Scorpion and the Fly. I may have got that mixed up, but anyway, the Stillwell brothers created a couple of supervillains. Well, it turns out, that actually they're the Shannon's brothers, and they're this old woman who, by the way, now is says that her name is Madame Monstrosity. It's like the 1960s called, and they want their tacky supervillain names back. And of course it's like, this is like, by making, and then like she claims that she had something to do with the creation of the Lizard and Morbius, the Morbius that didn't get eaten by sharks, and the Rhino or whatever, and this is just like, Alex Kurtzman. Alex Kurtzman Star Trek, where he makes Michael Burnham Spock's sister, because otherwise no one would give a shit about that character. So Dan Slott is just trying to, I'm going to create this character and I'll insert myself into the earliest days of Spider-Man. These characters, see, they're actually a product of this character that I created, so, I'm back there. I'm just as good as Steve Ditko and John Romita Jr. So anyway, what Miss Madame Monstrosity, who actually reminds me of a Futurama villainess, which
Matt
is
Bird says Carmella DeVille from the
Carmella, Carmella's sister Cruella.
Actually, I believe Madame Monstrosity also created Spider-Boy, at least according to adjectiveless Spider-Man. So,
and take a look at the next panel.
That's what we're
getting.
To.
There you go, Kelly.
Yeah, that's what
he's
we're
mine.
Getting to. Because see, the reason she's talking to Shannon is because she thinks that Shannon is doing weird ass animal experiment or humanimal experiments out there, and Shannon's saying, "No, I ain't doing any of that shit," and so and so Madame Monstrosity says, "Well, what's this Spider Boy doing here?" It's like, if you didn't create him, who did? He's mine. This is to be continued in Spider-Boy #1, yet another monthly Spider-Man family title, as if there weren't plenty already.
I can't do it. I'm not picking that book up. I read issue 11 that Kelly's going to review on Patreon. That was I didn't like that one at all.
No.
I don't like his origin. I don't like a little 10-year-old in a costume. I don't like any of the Spider-Boy crap.
Nope.
Any of it. That's an F out of me,
we are going to write it for as long and as hard as we can. And even if his series fails spectacularly, we will reboot it again and again and again.
How many issues does Spider-Boy run?
11.
11. Yeah.
I'm giving it 11.
11. Yep. Sarah, how many issues? 11? Over, under?
I don't care.
Sarah does 10.
I would actually bet, because this looks like another pet project, that Marvel will give this thing plenty of rope. There's no telling how far, he'll probably get down to 5,000 issues a month, or something. But I just think they're really going to try to make this work. They haven't made a toy
alpha book.
Yeah, they've got to make a toy of him, So
absolutely, they got to make an action figure of Spider-Boy. I give Spider-Boy 2 issues. Okay. All right, JR. Another one.
This next story isn't even worth talking about. Basically, it's about this loser named Perry Thomas who stalks superheroes so he can be rescued all the time. Blah blah blah. The end. That's stupid ass.
I didn't even get any panels up by the time that review was over.
All right. Well, let's go back and actually treat this as if it were really something. Then, the case of Perry Thomas. Anyway, we have what appears to be some hapless string bean looking citizen of New York, and Spider-Man saves him from the Rhino. Oh boy, good thing. But then all of a sudden, Spider-Man saves him from Sandman later. And then Spider-Man saves him from the Lizard.
Yep.
and the Vulture. And Spider-Man is saying, this is got, giving me some feelings of deja vu all over again. And so then so Spidey's sitting minding his business, and the Human Torch, flies in and says, "Hey, you've been saving some redheaded big nosed dork." Yeah. As I say, his nose looks about as convincing as Bradley Cooper's does in the Leonard Bernstein biopic. So
What in the world?
I want to
right,
see that.
No. All
aren't
right,
you
anyway.
familiar with any of this, Brad?
No. I have not seen the trailer.
Everybody in the chat room, are you aware that Bradley Cooper's doing a movie about Leonard Bernstein and that he has a big nose and everybody's offended by it because he's portraying somebody who has a big nose? Anyway, so
I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
all right.
Well, at least you've got some class.
Kelly and I are classless.
Thank you, JR.
Actually, I was like more focused on ordering wings, but
so the Torch tells Spider-Man
$10 for this book or a dozen wings. What are we picking? I'm saying the wings at this point look pretty darn good.
I was about to say, if you're for your money's worth or whatever, it ain't this book. So anyway, turns out that this guy is a superhero stalker who likes to get rescued. He gets off by holy cow. We're losing.
Yes, I know. Chat, behave. I just put a couple people in timeout. Behave.
Whoa, wait, what happened?
Well, we'll find out about it later. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, JR.
Yeah. So the Torch tells him this guy's a loser who's addicted to being saved, and he's an attention whore and stuff like that. So anyway, so he goes, he finds another super Electro. So he goes around where Electro is, and then we see this guy in a homemade Spider-Man outfit that all it's missing is the dying spider on the back, just like the one that Peter bought in Germany. Or East Germany or whatever. But anyway, it turns, he says, well, I'm not the real Spider-Man, but I'm filling in. And, but of course, this guy is personally offended now because he's not going to be rescued by the real Spider-Man. So he walks away, and it turns out that the fake Spider-Man was the Human Torch. Then the last panel is this Tyler Perry. No, his name's not Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry.
Wrong palette there. Perry Thomas.
Perry Thomas.
Perry
Tyler
Thomas.
Perry
He sees Daredevil. I think that's Daredevil, right?
Well,
okay, shoot.
That's about as good as the art's going to get.
I was about to say, you have to look really close.
It kind of looks like Daredevil. It could be Marmaduke. I don't know what the hell we're looking at.
So he's gonna stalk Daredevil now. So,
JR, it sounds like you really love that one.
I honest to God, who comes up with these?
Well, here's what I suspect. I suspect if I'm the ASM editor and I hear from the bean counter at Marvel, we have an anniversary issue coming up on 9/25. I'm going to send a mass email out to multiple talents. Hey, would you like a big break? We're going to pad this book out and charge $10 for it, and you can put on your resume that you have been an amazing Spider-Man. So I want everyone to send me pitches because we're going to pad the back half of this book out. I think that's a legit idea of what happens. What do you guys think?
Sounds
well,
right.
the thing is, though, Brad, you got it wrong because you used the word talent without quotes.
But if you're an up-and-coming writer and artist, wouldn't it not be cool to be in the back of a Spider-Man book?
Well, yeah, but I try to write something.
Here's your parameters. Nothing can change the character. Well, that is what's told to the main writer. Nothing on the character can change. It needs to be done in about 5 to 10 pages. And the reason for this is to get the $10 out of all of us. And as George says, we're all fools for doing it. Anyway, this is the one.
74 more issues of this.
JR, this is the one people tuned in for, man. We're ready for the Loosey Goosey, all right? The Loosey Goosey by JR. Boom, let's go.
They're really there's nothing to do with this.
I didn't mind this one. This one's weird as hell.
I'll just boys and girls, for today's drag queen readings in the public library. Spider-Man in Loosey Goosey. So the story opens with Spider-Man texting board, and then he hears whack, oh, and there's a goose. Hello there, says Spider-Man. Say goose as he takes a selfie with a goose. Spider-Man bringing that top shelf content and post. Whack, 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 whack. Oh, I like you. I'm going to call you Stanley. And I was all like Venom, more like denim. Wah, 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 wah. You had to be there. And then Doc Ock shows up. Spider-Man, your time is up. And Spider-Man does a Scooby-Doo.
Wait a minute. I just randomly went to the sex scene with Craven. Hold on. Wait a minute. Where's the goose go?
You had it on the same panel. You just zoomed in. It was all on one page.
Even you don't want to go through this story.
I didn't. Why did I go to the sex scene with Craven next?
Well, that shows where your mind is. You're always zooming in. You're always zooming in on Spider-Man's ass.
Well, we did start off with tentacles. So
yeah.
Well, Craven is kind of loosey goosey.
And it does get worse. So anyway,
right, there we go.
So then Dr. Octopus, Spider-Man, your time is up. And Spider-Man does his Scooby-Doo impersonation. And then, wah, wah, wah. No, Stanley, you stay here. Stay. And Doc Ock goes, face me. What is that? A goose? Wah, 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 wah. No, it's not a goose. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, what is this? No fair, Spider-Man. You can't hide behind your poultry forever. Wah, wah, wah. Nice job. You really turned him into Doc Awkward. Oh, whoa, pal. Boundaries. I don't want to be singing soprano just yet. Oh, hey, hey, you took my emergency cookie. You don't know where that's been. Or maybe you do know where that's been since you reached in there for it. I guess not only are we best friends now, but we're boyfriends now too, aren't we? Since you touched me down there. Oh,
I'm reading it with you. That's not in the story.
Oh, you're leaving. Goodbye. Well, goodbye, Stanley. I love you. You touched me in my special place, and now
no.
Can we not use the name Stanley?
I know.
When we are aware of a Stanley Osborne, correct? Let's not.
All right, JR.
But it's right here. It says Stanley.
All right. Hey, Burgess, what do you think of that one?
Oh, my Lord. How many more of these to go?
No. I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think of the goose story, JR?
Oh, come on. You have to ask me. You might as well ask me what religion the Pope is, I mean, it's like...
I thought this is like one of those little golden book stories that you get, or like some of those little Spider-Man goes on a field trip stories that you see in Target or something. Like that's what this reminded me of.
It's very cute.
It's
cute. Not.
You probably think a puppy's ugly, JR.
This is stupid.
It is stupid, but it's.
I thought it was sad at the end. Where he says,
"Are you kidding me, Sarah?
No, listen, let me explain."
Is Sarah tearing up and the goose flying away?
Yes.
Is this like every girlfriend Spider-Man's ever had?
That's what I was trying to say. He can't keep anyone that loves him, so that's why it's sad. It is.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Or that he loves.
How foul. All right. Anyway,
man, I can't wait for my chicken wings.
What
Wait a minute. We're talking about geese.
Well, I went to JR. I'm getting them from JR Cricket, so of course I had to do lemon pepper hot. Like that's just.
He's gonna eat the
ATL.
Goose. JR, you have a wing shop? I didn't know JR Crickets was the name of your wing shop. JR Crickets.
I am a man of many talents, Brad.
Should we move on from?
No, but we're going to.
Oh, Hornacek says that this guy has done a lot of children's books. So there you go. What is it?
Oh,
that makes sense.
Cale Anderson is the artist. Says
Yeah.
Hornacek. By the way, what is the name of that story? Give the Mouse a Cookie.
Oh, I love that book.
Give the Goose a Cookie is like a sequel.
Wait a minute, Sarah. How old are you?
32.
And you like? Well, you said you like that story. It's
What?
present tense. You didn't say
Yeah,
I
it's a
like.
I don't care. Read the story. It's a
I
cute
read
story.
the
Let's
story to
read
my
it.
daughter. I like Give the Mouse a Cookie. We're not all monsters and goblins inside, you
I'm
green
not dead
goblin.
inside, JR. I'm not dead inside.
Well,
I
got-
almost am, so I
well,
kind of
you're not dead inside because you're not married yet. When you get
All right.
married,
no, because
you'll-
marriage is a scam. I'm not getting married.
If you look at this dividing line of the cams, the living are over here on the left, the dead are over here on the right. Evidently, we're even better lit, Sarah. Do you see how we're better lit than the other side of the cam?
I didn't want to record in my closet.
I know, but it's because you're dead. You said you're dead. JR said you're dead. Me and Sarah embrace the light. Sarah, hold my hand.
Holy cow! Somebody on here is actually older than I am.
Where?
Sarah's mom is admitting to being older than I am. Holy cow!
JR, I'm 70, and I love that book. If you give a mouse a cookie,
I have I have made it. I have made it a promise that I will not say anything bad about any Crawlspacer's mother. So therefore, I will not.
I want to know what you were gonna say. What you mean?
Therefore, I will not say what I was thinking.
well, she has a book for
I don't
you.
know.
She
Sarah's
says
mom,
if you give
My mom will
JR
come
a
at you,
Xanax.
JR.
I like that.
I'll read that book.
Oh my God!
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. Oh God.
All right.
Where the hell are we?
All right.
I
Well,
don't know
actually,
anymore.
we're
Okay.
We're
Hey, let's have some goblin craven sex.
We're-
All right. Follow the
Oh,
cookie
God.
story.
we're at Craven and Queen Goblin in foreplay.
Let's
You know, so a lot of nonsensical dialogue as they're cutting into each other.
Real
And
quick,
then,
why would we put this after the goose? Like that's like a children's book, and now we're having some foreplay. What is going on?
Well, first of all,
Why are you kink shaming, Brad?
you got to teach the kids how to read. Then you got to teach them about the birds and the bees. Okay, so first the reading lesson, then the biology lesson.
All right.
All right. So anyway, so Craven is as he's laying laying in bed next
Look at
to the queen. He's wondering.
Punch the hell out of him.
Craven is wondering, she looks an awful lot like Purgatory from Chaos Comics, but that can't be because Marvel Comics has too much integrity to actually rip off something else from another publisher, right? Right. Oh, by the way, I was going to call Night Watch here, but anyway. So I don't know. Craven is having visions of being hunting her and her hunting him, and probably some big sex thing.
Craven having regrets. I love
it's going to be it's going to be continued next issue. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Oh, maybe he doesn't have regrets. He's smiling a little bit. Maybe he likes Goblin. Once you go Goblin, you never go back. Come on, JR.
I almost clicked leave studio. I almost
Oh.
No, anyway, you're going to give this to your daughter to read, right, Brad? She's going to go from, reading to biology. So, and then see the story before that is like a variation of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, I guess.
Wait, JR, there's more.
Sir.
There's more.
There is one more.
We
story.
go from geese to foreplay to what?
Well, to a sequel, to an advertisement for a sequel to one of the grossest, most ridiculous, stupid, worthless Spider-Man stories ever. And
make it rain, JR, make it rain.
They call it a sequel to Spider-Man's most notorious story. That's an insult to Notorious.
That's an insult to
which was a TV. Wasn't that a TV? Wait a minute, wasn't that a TV show with Ariana Grande, Notorious? Somebody help me here.
How are you picking on us? We give the mouse a cookie. You're watching Disney Plus, Disney Teen.
No, well, Victorious was Nickelodeon, and it was a Dan Schneider situation.
That guy.
Yeah.
Well, he probably would like Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, well, probably.
That's about his age range.
All right, let's take a look at Kingpin over here.
All right. Well, first of all, as
Jesus
you know,
Christ.
anybody who put up with Spider-Man reign knows that the mayor of New York had captured the Kingpin and was feeding him through an IV drip, and the Kingpin was had become just a skeleton, basically a skeleton with a bunch of saggy skin. Well, something's at the end of Spider-Man reign, that was all the symbiotes were coming crashing through, and Spider-Man killed the Sinister Six, and which actually he did, so now we're in the aftermath of that, and the Kingpin has found the mayor, and the Kingpin is really hungry, so he eats the mayor, and apparently he eats a few more people, and it looks like something out of Heavy Metal, and then he mentioned Spider-Man, and then we have Spider-Man swinging around with Mary Jane's corpse, or we have Spider-Man imagining that he's swinging around with Mary Jane's corpse, because as we know, Mary Jane is dead in the Spider-Man ring, because Spider-Man laid a million eggs of radioactive cancer in her.
That's why the story's infamous.
When did this happen? Did I just block this out entirely?
Well, you were too busy reading. You were too busy reading "Give a Mouse a Cookie."
Yeah,
that's a better story anyway.
It is.
Spider-Man Reign, right?
Yes.
Spider-Man Reign.
Yes. You don't need to read it. It's
like
fine.
20, I think it's like 20 years old.
Actually we might as well talk. It's going to be in the next batch of Spider history. So if you're unfamiliar with it, then
awful story. Here's another image of it with the number 2 behind him.
So anyway, for those of you who remember Spider-Man Reign, it was a sad, pathetic attempt to do a Dark Knight Returns, and it was some weird ass piece of shit that didn't make any sense. And Spider-Man wasn't even the hero in it. It was actually the Sandman and his daughter who were the heroes.
This is from the artist Carrie Andrews, who, give or take, kind of talented, kind of weird art. But Kelly on Satellites reviewed the Amazing Fantasy book, and Uncle Ben was riding a dragon at some point. Mm-hmm. This dude's trippy. This guy is trippy when he writes and draws. I don't dig it. I don't understand it.
And as Hornacek has mentioned in a subtle way, yes, there is a nice frontal view of aging Spider-Man.
Yeah. Is there really nudity in it? I didn't remember that. Maybe I blocked that out. I don't remember that. I'm not going to go look if there is.
It's probably sitting right there next to you, next to that. What was that DC version, Black Orchid or whatever, with the Batman?
Bruce was naked. Yeah, I remember that. And that is the end of 925. Bravo to Kelly and JR for putting up with that.
Oh man.
Okay. JR, you're not done.
Oh,
no. You've actually got I think this next one's not bad.
Oh, it says the guy who buys a book based on the cover.
Well, that's true. All right. Let me pull this up. We've got, this issue just came out Wednesday, and we are back to Craven and Goblin fooling around.
Craven, they are fooling around.
Yep.
I will say though, the one that here's my up is the box, the letter at the upper left hand corner. Yeah, right there. There we go. I got to give props for that.
That's really well done. Really well done. Really respectful.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of an homage to, Romita Jr. and what was that?
Romita Sr.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Romita Sr.
They had a nice 2-page thing, or 3 pages, I think, in the front issue of All Marvel, showing respect. I thought that was well done.
Yeah. So
4-page. It was 4-page. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 4 pages with the art.
Yeah. Really well done.
Really nice.
So there's the pros for that issue is
Absolutely.
recognizing Mr. Romita and his invaluable contributions to Spider-Man and to Marvel Comics. All right, so of course we go from we go from a glorious tribute to more foreplay between Purgatory and
she's the Goblin Queen, or she's Queen Goblin. Sorry,
Queen Goblin, even though she looks like Purgatory, which so there's more ridiculous talk between her and this clone of Kraven, who's the most overrated villain.
They're both clones, JR. It's two clones.
Yeah, that's it.
They're both clones.
That's right. So
anyway, make a real person.
So they're doing some dumbass ceremony, it's like say uminama when we were born on this planet, So here we are. Let's see here, Circle of Life lyrics. Anyway, that joke's been told. But anyway, so they're doing this, little and it turns out that they have transferred Osborn's sins. Oh, this is gross. It's just gross. See, why does there have to be? I mean, come on. I mean, I made a couple of kids. But
where are you going with this?
No, it's just, why is everything got to be sexualized?
Kelly's gone. She's got to go get her chicken wings. This is her time to check out.
Why the hell do we have to sexualize
now,
everything?
JR? This seems like up Craven's alley, literally. But if he's going to do a ceremony, he's going to have sex in with it.
But I don't want to see. I don't want to see that.
I think that's
want to see that. Maybe
I don't want to see that, but I think that's totally up. I think that's totally Craven.
I think this is just the writer getting his jollies off. I mean,
you don't think you think it's out of character for Craven?
I didn't say it was out of character, but we didn't need to see it. Okay. So anyway, apparently Norman Osborn's sins are like a basketball that people just pass around. You're it. You've got the goblin sins. You've got the goblin sins.
You don't like the sins like this on the end of a staff, or extracting them out mythically. I mean, we got Doctor Strange and mythical stuff all the time.
I don't like. No, and the thing is, I guess it's ridiculous for me to question the stupidity of someone's sins, actually being able to be quantified, and like, the thing with
a kidney stone, you don't think they can just be pulled out of you, or an organ?
Well, but it's like, but it can be transferred. I mean, it's easier to transfer.
Evil can be. You don't think evil can be transferred?
No. Well, I guess we find out at the end of the story, won't we?
Well, that's what this whole story is about: transferring evil.
So anyway,
hold on. Evil can be transferred. Do you not know nature and nurture? Like, if you have bad parents, aren't the kids that are exposed to bad parents tend to have those same tendencies? Is evil not transferred that way?
I don't know. Maybe if you call my kids, you can find out.
I think evil is transferable. I really do.
Wow, you know what? Like Benny Hinn touching your whatever.
No, but
evil.
We're also talking about a dude that can swing on webs and crawl.
Yeah, I know. It's about to say it's a little bit silly to complain about the ridiculousness of putting someone's sins on the end of a spear when I've already accepted the fact that the dude, does goblin formula and flies around in a purple and
transferred
green
and
costume.
shared, Hornacek in chat. I think is transferred and shared is the same concept, in my opinion.
You go to a philosophy class or something.
Okay, I'm overthinking it. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, Felicia and Peter, after having broken up in the most boring, dull way possible, are actually talking to each other again, and apparently they're talking about this lawyer. I forgot who's I don't know if she's Janice's lawyer or if she's
Tombstone's.
She's Tombstone's lawyer. Okay, right. Tombstone's lawyer, and apparently Peter is going to go to dinner with her, and of course Felicia, because she apparently in this late in the modern Marvel, she swings both ways, and she thinks this chick is hot. So Peter goes to dinner, and yes, of course, apparently every modern woman has to have black lipstick and look goth. Okay, so here's so Tombstone has a goth lawyer. I don't see how or why, but anyway. you know, I so they nonsense.
Yeah. He's late. He's late to the date.
Yeah, yeah, and the
By the way, Don Shada will answer your question in a little bit. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
Will we ever get Spider-Man stories again? Depends on what your answer idea of a Spider-Man story is.
Now, you know, Peter and this. See, maybe this is what Marvel wants Peter to do. Marvel wants Peter to start, you know, doing tombstones. You know, I mean, after all, Tombstone. You know, we've already had a bit of torture porn with Tombstone beating Spider-Man to within an inch of his life. So, you know, we might as well have a different kind of porn with between Peter and this lawyer. So, you know, they argue about the nature of who deserves to be represented by a lawyer. Then we got to go back to Craven and the Queen Goblin. And somehow they've been able to, you know, because somehow they've been able to either steal one of Norman's costumes or, you know, they went to Party City or something and got a costume. So, you know, they can symbolize, you know, the Goblin and how they're going to transfer the sins back to him.
Check out the picture of the Goblin in the coffin.
Yeah, I was about to say, went to Party City for that costume.
Right.
So, well, then we transfer.
Don't you think it's nice of Craven to get him a costume just so Norman's ready to go when he gets his sins back in him? Don't think that's nice?
No.
Okay, it's not a thoughtful villain-to-villain gift.
Well, first of all, Craven outlived his usefulness a long time ago. He should have stayed where he was after J.M. DeMatteis put a bullet in his head and splattered his brains all over the place.
Yep.
You know, so anyway, so we're at Oscorp and Norman is working on a plasma engine, you know, and Peter is saying, gee, Norman, you know, you're working awful late, you know, and Norman say, well, Peter, you know, I mean, what the hell am I going to do? You know, I ain't married, got no kids, you know, I mean, I thought I had 3 kids, but one turned out to be a clone and 2, apparently I never had at all because they were just a memory planted by Mysterio that made me think that I, you know, did win or whatever. But anyway, so what am I going to do? Sit around and watch TV and eat a Salisbury steak TV dinner? Anyway, so he's working. And so, you know, he and Peter have a moment, you know, and they actually do refer to Gwen.
They do.
You know,
look at that.
They do actually refer, you know, that Peter is, you know, wanting him to keep an eye on him. So, you know, he doesn't become the man who killed Gwen. Well, the lights go off. That means that Craven and Purgatory have come. Norman goes to get his gold goblin suit, but it turns out that turns out that Craven has had a religious experience and has crucified it. You know, so anyway, so ultimately he wants to give Norman his sins back, and you know, Norman, of course, since he has been wussified by Zeb Wells.
Actually, Nick Spencer.
Nick Spencer
and Zeb, yeah.
Nick Spencer didn't write this story.
No, you said he's been
wussified.
Wussified. That's a Nick Spencer and Zeb Wells deal.
Well, he wasn't now he's really become wussified now.
Okay. All right.
You know, because, you know, again, he can't take down Craven. You know, Craven, you know, picks him up and says, you know, I read the Bane stories with Batman breaking Bruce Wayne's back. So, you know, what the hell? We're copying a whole lot of other things that DC did. Why don't we copy this? Well, Spider-Man tries to come to Norman's rescue as Craven is about to stab Norman with the spear and give him his sins back. And Spider-Man jumps in between the two of them and takes the spear in the back. And then, you know, Craven.
Let me get a shot of that. Here you go. All the sins of the Goblin go in Spider-Man's back.
Yep. And then, you know, in the next panel, the next 2-page spread, kind of Craven realizes that he blanked up. And so he's going to be the hunted. And so Peter's going, ha, 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 ha. Now Willem Dafoe will play me in the next Spider-Man movie. Ha, 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 ha. And that's the end of that. I give that piece of shit a C-.
Wow. Okay. Sarah, what would you give that for a grade?
I give it a C.
Kelly, did you read that one?
I did not.
Okay.
But just from hearing about it and knowing the Norman Peter implications, I think a C is a fair thing to say.
I give it an A-. I liked it a lot. I don't know why I liked it, but I think the art with Gleason is awesome. I like the concept of Peter going through Norman's sins. I like that concept. I think that's cool. I'm surprised you don't, JR.
Well,
probably
that's because
you aren't in for the penny. You don't buy the concept of evil transferable.
No, no. This is well. It's like I said, it's being passed around like a basketball. And maybe it's an interesting concept, but how many interesting concepts have we seen fail to stick the landing? And have a poor execution. So anyway,
I have a question. How did why Craven is my question. Like, I don't know if no one can really answer that except the writer, but I don't understand why Craven is the character to do this.
Who would you think would be better? If you were getting it's got to be like a mystical, like Doctor Strange kind of character
in a Spider-Man story.
Does Spider-Man have one of those?
Spider-Man and his villains are all science-based. So, by the way, let's have magic.
I mean, that's been the case for almost 2 decades now.
Right.
Well, that's true. Making deals with the devil and shit. Yeah. So,
but yeah, he deals with voodoo. Like Ryan says in chat, he deals with voodoo. He dated what's her name?
Calypso.
Calypso. Yeah. So he deals with voodoo and mystic stuff. So I think Craven works personally. That's why I gave it so high.
But the thing is, we just had a story where a supervillain was trying to return Norman to his Green Goblin state. So literally back-to-back stories, the same concept. We've just dressed it up in voodoo and sex. Same story, same principle.
JR, let's talk about the letters page a little bit.
You mean that the writing of the sycophants?
I didn't even read it.
Can you talk about Nick Lowe talking about this writer Mac says, why did you put Kamala in it? She doesn't even belong in the book.
I don't read the letters pages because I can't stand to read that sycophant.
Okay, so let me read a couple lines from Nick Lowe. He says, we definitely got angry and less level-headed and unprintable letters and plenty of hate online. I guess that's us. But as you'll see, we've also got a lot of people writing whom say the story touched. The story touched?
Who?
Whom the story touched.
Oh.
Who? How about he posts those letters?
As for whether it was cheap or not, we've been dealing with the fallout in the issue since, which speak for themselves, character and story-wise. But I'll give a peek behind the curtain for some of the more meta elements. As we were planning out Kamala's story, the opportunity to take advantage of Krakoan rebirth presented itself. We wanted to make sure that we put the biggest spotlight on Kamala's journey that we could, which is Amazing Spider-Man. I talked about that. I'm like, if you're going to do this, put it in your #1 book, which confirms that's why they did it. We had already brought Kamala into the series by then, so it seemed perfect. I still stand by the story in 26. Kamala is a superhero. She showed up to a giant supervillain fight and got involved, which is what a hero does. She risked everything to save a life, which is what a hero does. It cost Kamala her life. Was she the central focus of the book or the story? Nope. But honestly, to me, that's all life. That's also life. Things happen that don't go the way stories should go. But what Kamala did was completely in character on the biggest stage in comics, getting more people talking about her than had in years. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that just proves you're just making this a shit show on purpose because you want the numbers.
Yes, no, that's exactly it. And it also, they knew the hate and the outrage that it was going to cause, and they specifically did that for numbers. And that's what pisses me off about this. It's disgusting, it's sexist, it's racist, it's all those things, and it's all under Nick Lowe.
And it's just a big promotion for the movie coming up. I mean, it's
that they want to sell on Kamala miniseries of her and the X-Men. Also, there was a proposal at the end.
That's cute.
So we had a proposal there. So, all right, JR. Have we even done pros and cons yet? I don't think we have JR Pros on that book. You gave it a C,
None.
if I remember.
No pros.
Okay. I like Craven. I liked Peter with the getting the sins of Norman. Sarah Kelly didn't read it. Sarah
I like the
Pros.
art.
What did you like about it? The art.
I like the art a lot.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I also liked when Craven was in the book, because like thought bubbles of the narration that went with him, I thought was spot on. So that was cool to read.
All right, that is all the pros we got. What are your thoughts, JR, about the Gwen Stacy mention between Norman and Peter? Do you think those two would have that conversation? I don't know if I believe that or not.
They would have had it. They would have had it long before now.
Really?
I mean, that's why I said this whole relationship thing with Peter and Norman, none of these things paid off. You know, I mean, there was all this, what did Peter do? None of that paid off. You know, I mean, it's like we missed the whole, I mean, you know, Peter would have gone through various stages of dealing with Norman Osborn. You know, I mean, it just, you know, they became, I don't know, friends far too fast. None of this is earned. You know, they should have had this conversation about Gwen a long time ago. So too little, too late.
Yeah,
I agree. Other cons, JR?
No, other than that, no.
Sarah,
I mean,
any cons?
Sucks.
The whole thing.
Nothing that we haven't talked about already.
Okay. Chat is requesting, JR, that you review the God story from Jonathan Hickman in the back. I have no idea what's going on.
Why?
I have no idea what's in the back because they advertised it on the cover of ASM. Be sure to read the one-page backup of Gods by Jonathan Hickman. So I don't know what that is.
It looks like someone's trying to rip off that cyberpunk comic that what's his name? I can't remember his name or whatever, but the comic is called Girl Genius. That's what this looks like a ripoff of. So
I'm not going to pick up Gods. Anybody interested in Gods?
Am I supposed to know who these people are?
Well, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I don't know who these people are. And I think what Marvel wants you to do is be interested in that book, because on various, I think it's like one page is in the back of each book. Because look, it's right on the cover. Who are the gods?
Who cares?
Who cares who the gods are? Anyway. All right. Chad, if
this
you got
was a bad month.
It was a bad, I didn't even ask you yet, but you're telling me. Chat, if you want to ask a few questions, we're done about 15 minutes early. We're going to do a restroom break before Patreon, but I'll pop a couple questions up if you'd like to ask us some questions.
And I'll pop a couple pills.
Jeez.
I'll eat some wings.
How are the wings? Are they hot?
They're great. Well, no, I mean, yes, they're hot lemon pepper, but they're not hot.
Ooh, I always get lemon pepper. I love lemon pepper. It's so good. All right, chat, what do you got for us?
Wait, boneless or traditional? That's the question.
I can't have boneless, so they're traditional because they're not breaded.
Oh. McNulty, what's up? Peter saying Norman treats him like a son. That only happened in the Raimi movies, and I think the cartoon. Proof once again, besides Gwen Death and Craven's Last Hunt, Wells, Spidey know how came from the films.
Wells is know how, like, so what he knows comes from the film. But yeah, yes and no. This is my thing though, is I think it's, to me, it all feels very editorial. Once again, kind of stepping in, saying, "Hey, we want to streamline this to match up with No Way Home." Yeah. The thing that I have is it feels a lot like editorial feels like the audience doesn't know anything. Yeah. And they don't want to like just dive in deep into any sort of lore.
Yep. I would agree. All right, let's see.
No, the whole Spider-Man, I mean, basically Sam Raimi came up with it, and it's kind of been retconned into Spider history. Yeah. Because if you read the original stories, I mean, Norman and Peter did not have that kind of relationship. Norman, when Norman wasn't crazy, you know, he respected Peter. He wanted to hire Peter. You know, he respected his intellect and stuff, but there wasn't a lot of familiarity there, because Peter was avoiding him. Once Peter found out he was a Green Goblin, he tried to stay clear of him so he didn't jog his memory. Mm-hmm. So, and then he was dead. Well, actually not dead, but he just went to Europe for 7 years and came back.
Right.
So
Thank you, Sarah's mom. She says, "Great podcast, one of my faves. Love you all. I'm outie." So thanks for the chuckles tonight. If you feed JR a Xanax, I think was the best comment of the night. I think
that's
that
a
was
very good line. I like that.
Radiac asks us, this may be a loaded question, but how does the panel feel in keeping the support of the book? I understand that the show has to review the current book, but at what point is it condoning the terrible? We don't have to do this. As evidenced by Kelly, she talked about she's out. She's Felicia Hardy. She
It's
doesn't
like I
want-
said, it's not
Yeah.
forever, and it's not,
Yeah.
you know, like I'm not pulling because I feel like George's was so finite, and I'm not doing that. And obviously, you can probably twist my arm, and I'll probably come back and do it because
Right.
that's what happened here.
Because
But
reviewing bad books, but being with your friends reviewing bad books is fun, right? I mean,
yes, but at this point, this is it's almost on principle, and I think that
Yeah.
what you highlighted, what Nick Lowe said, and the backpedaling
Right.
he was giving to try to justify Kamala being in there.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to even give this book the time of day right now. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm hurt. I think that Marvel needs to actually take accountability. Because let's use, with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
They were not very responsible in how they handled any of this. They have not been very responsible in how they've told Peter's story in the last 20 years, ultimately.
Well, the editor stands by what he did. He just said it in print. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm tired of it. There's
Absolutely.
no accountability, and there's no responsibility to the character to honoring the people who came before them and being respectful of the people that will come after them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting pissed off by.
Kelly and I were talking about this earlier. I think I'm in an abusive relationship with Spider-Man because I've been collecting since I was like 6 years old, Amazing Spider-Man. And JR, 40 years for me, even longer for you, I imagine.
Yeah,
so, and you have talked about walking away from Amazing. I don't know if I can. I like to find out what's happening with my friend Pete every month.
Now, with me, it's been like Al Pacino in Godfather 3 or whatever.
Absolutely.
Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. But the time is coming. The time is coming. I can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. Issue 1000, and then I think it's time to go.
Let me go over to the light part of the split down the middle. Sarah, are you and I ride or die or what?
Yeah,
Amazing? I don't know.
I've said this before. I'm here for the ride. There's some things that are going on right now that I don't like, and there's some things that are going on right now that I do like, and not necessarily with just ASM. So
it's very ebb and flow.
It's hard for me to say like, no, I'm not going to read this anymore, because I know Wednesday would come around and I'd be like, I need to know what happened, like even if it's shit.
It's we're addicted. We're totally Spider-Man addicted is what happened.
We're the problem, Brad. We're the problem.
Well, no. I see, and that's the stuff I understand. I mean, I've got a ton of social media friends that all they do is talk about Spider-Man every single Wednesday. So it's not like I'm missing what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when all I'm seeing is vitriol and anger and sadness and somebody being upset and just none of it feeling right. Yeah. At what point is enough enough? At what point do you turn it off, go outside, go touch some grass, go realign yourself? Because to me, it's like when I see somebody literally having a meltdown over a fictional character just existing, and basically a fictional character who is ultimately just cardboard.
Are you talking about like a person on Twitter or something?
Well, yeah. So I mean, like, let's talk about it. Paul is cardboard, y'all. Like he has nothing. There's nothing there at all, and he doesn't mean anything in the end of the day. And yet, go on Twitter, and you will find so many death threats towards a fictional character, and it's absolutely insane. But Marvel editorial will take those unhinged takes and go, see, we can't listen to any of what these guys are saying.
Yes.
That's what bothers me. because it's not like let's all take a break.
It's not that serious.
Let's take a break. Let's chill out and like
Well-
actually be constructive in our criticism and actually try
Absolutely.
to do better.
Absolutely. I agree on that.
Well, you know, it's a bigger problem than just Spider-Man and Marvel.
Yeah.
You
Disney
mean with
is
social media and people losing it?
social
Yeah.
media.
Oh yeah.
Disney is doing this with Star Wars. You know, whenever, and to be honest, this whole thing with Kamala was leaked. It's one thing. It's so disingenuous to actually do what you can to stoke these kind of fiery emotions and then react to them like, oh my God, I can't believe people are acting this way when you're the ones who threw gasoline on the fire deliberately.
True.
But Kelly is absolutely right. And something that as I've gotten older, I've realized, well, it's one reason I stay off social media, but you know, two, it's like all these, I've just realized, you know, all this stuff is going to live. My existence does not impact the existence of any of these characters, any of these media. You know, I will be gone and it will continue, you know, and it's like, you know, if I were, you know, I understand why Star Wars fans are so unhappy. I understand why Star Trek fans are so unhappy, but like Kelly said, it's fiction. Turn it off, go outside, you know, mow the lawn, you know, go get a girlfriend or something. I mean, it's like they're not worth it. They're not worth it. And it's, you know, we could be better than feeding into this because you're being manipulated, folks.
Exactly.
You're being manipulated.
Oh, yeah.
You're, you know, it's like you think you're standing up for something, you know, you think, and it's like, no, you're being manipulated.
They know, editorial knows what you guys want. They're just not giving it to you. And they want this hate. They almost want the hate buys. They want the hate discussions. And
Because
that's the thing that it's gross after a while.
Hate and discussion and anger sells comics. And
It's louder.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Mary in chat says, as Brad knows, with Incredible Hulk during Donny Cates around the pendulum will swing back to good stories. Hell, I gave this one an A-. I liked it. I did not care for the Doc Ock story. In the span of a month, the ebbs and flows. Let's see. I've got a super chat I got to talk about with Don. He had a typo. He wanted, when are we going to have good stories again? Don, it happens. Every other month. I mean, it depends on your. Sorry, there you go, Sarah. But depends on what your idea of a good story is. I guarantee you, every story someone likes and every story someone hates. It just depends on what is your
I think
flavor.
maybe give us like 30 more issues and maybe we'll have a new writer. Allegedly.
Well, you know,
or a new editor, possibly. I don't know.
You know, this is one reason I stopped. Among many, one reason I stopped writing my columns. You know, there were other reasons. You know, I mean, I was spending too much time doing it. I joined Brad's show, so it was almost like doing it. But it was just I was going to get into the Brand New Day era, and I was like, what's the point of just writing? I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. It's
exactly.
No, it's not constructive. And I just said, I don't want to do this. You know,
Real quick, I just don't. Chat is talking about, Zach is talking about it, Ryan's talking about it, Tevye is talking about it. Where is that confirmed, or is it what you saw on Discord or Reddit?
Discord. Yeah, it's Discord. It's Reddit. It's not confirmed.
I have not seen Zeb Wells' ending with issue 60. I've not heard that. If you can give me a link or tell me where that source is, I would love to find that out, but I've not seen that anywhere.
It's a rumor, but that's why I said allegedly, because we don't know.
Neil is in chat. Neil is ready for Patreon next. It's not confirmed, but it's the talk at Toronto Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Well, I have a confirmed fact from Toronto Comic-Con that Zeb Wells will talk to the Crawlspace when he's done. He's not confirmed when that is, but he talked to Josh and he says that he will come on the show, so we will find that out. All right. Before you go, we were just talking about Patreon. We are going to be on there in just a few minutes. Let's take a look and see what we're going to review. JR, are you excited for any of these? Let's see if let's gauge this by JR's interest. We've got
you want to read Red Goblin. It's the only good book.
JR.
I do have it sitting on my dining room table. I do have Red Goblin. Is that good. Misery number 4 or number 3? I don't know if Misery
number 3 is what we're going to do. So we got Miles Morales Spider-Man, where he goes. By the way, these are all variants. If you
I read the What If, or did you guys already do this? The What If.
No, it's coming up next. Gwen, Spider-Gwen. Yeah. So here's the books that we're going to review. We've got Miles Morales, where he takes on the Hobgoblin, wrapping that up. We got more Spider-Boy, issue 11. A little bit of the origin, if you want to hear that. Contest of Champions, Adjectiveless Spider-Man, written not by Dan Slott. Spider-Man versus Wolverine, Sarah's got that. The What If Spider-Gwen, what if Spider-Man died and Gwen lived? Tyler's going to take on a couple issues of Venom. Aunt Anna becomes a villain. You don't want to miss that in the back of Amazing Spider-Man Annual.
No, you do want to miss that. We want to forget that happened.
We're killing the Venomverse, but it just happened. We've got the Venomverse coming up. The Hallows Eve miniseries wraps up. We have a little bit of Ben Reilly in that book. Cult of Carnage Misery number 3 with Liz Allen as a peanut butter cup of Carnage and Anti-Venom together makes up Misery. Red Goblin, you got little 10-year-old Normie taking on Crossbones. We are not reviewing the Daredevil Echo. I couldn't get anybody to bite on that one. Nobody wanted that book. So it has what's her name? Shriek as the Goblin, Demogoblin. We've got What If Venom. What if Ben Grimm got the symbiote back in the 80s, where he was in the Fantastic Four 2, escaped. Death of the Venomverse number 2. Spider-Man India we're going to tackle. Miles Morales hops over to Spider-Man A Strange Academy and does a little guest. And Neil's favorite book, Silk. Neil is going to talk about the 2 issues of Silk. Of those issues, JR, what are you interested in?
Well, I actually have the What If story, and
not bad.
It had potential. Unfortunately, it had a few good scenes, but it was forgettable.
What did Jerry Conway write a little bit? His name's in the credits. That's why I picked it up.
I think he probably wrote a couple things out on a napkin and gave it to somebody, and they finished the story.
Well, what's her name, Kelly? That did the Renew Your Vows. What was her? Stephanie something?
You mean, okay, Renew Your Vows was Jody Hauser.
Jody, that's who did that, I think.
You're thinking of Stephanie Phillips, aren't you?
Yes, Stephanie Williams. So Stephanie Williams did the Spider-Verse, the Mayday story in the Spider-Verse Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, it's escaped my mind who wrote that one, but we will find out on Patreon.
Jody's been busy doing other things with other places. I don't remember anything recent in Marvel she's written.
All right. That's where you will find us in just a few minutes. Unfortunately, JR will be retiring. I mean, not from the show, but he's welcome to come on satellites. JR?
You guys don't need me. You have such a full, vibrant cast.
He just doesn't want to talk about all the crap.
That's fair.
Yeah, you have such a young, vibrant cast. You don't need some grouchy old man.
Oh, whatever. All right. Everybody, I appreciate you watching. I hope you're going to follow us over on Patreon in just a few minutes. We're going to take about a 5-10 minute break, and we will be right back.